G'day guys and welcome back to Jans_gaming for another Dokkan battle video. So today's video we're going to be running through the team building guide for the new STR Super 17 that's just dropped on global. Bit of a wonky unit, so can be a bit tough to build teams around this guy, but yeah, let's jump in straight into his details. So what I will say is this guide is for when you do get him to STR Super 17, not the base 17s together. Just because, yeah, that's where you're going to really be prioritizing his use. So for the teams, we've got Joined Forces, Target GOKU, Androids, Artificial Life Forms, Inhuman Deeds, Power Absorption, GT Bosses, Battle of Fate, and Fused Fighters. So a few 200% in there, definitely very handy for the GT Bosses. I know that's a mission that a lot of people are probably still struggling with for that Legendary Goku event mission, so handy buff there. For the links, we've got Fuse Fighter, Android Assault, Shocking Speed, GT, Nightmare, Fear of Faith, and Fierce Battle. So, as I mentioned, this is the team building guide for when you do transform into Super 17, and from there we do have a full 7 linking partner in the EZA AGL Super 17. He's still, I guess, maybe runnable. He's definitely not usable in the most difficult of content, but I think you'd be able to utilize him as a type advantage option in some of those red zone missions. If we do drop it down to 6 links, we do have the int 17 that's got the EZA. We've got the tech LR for the Super 17, who's crazy wonky as well, a unit that needs an EZA to be ran. And then we've also got the untransformed version, so the 17s together there as well. So potentially that could be a rotation that you want to run, the two of them together there. In terms of 4 links, we've got the tech Sin Shenron, who came out last anniversary, and then we've got the banner unit for the 17s, and that is the Jiro and Mew. Not the craziest unit unless you are going up against a Goku, then they become useful, but yeah, they could have definitely been a lot better there. We've also got the physical Omega Shenron, who's pretty solid after his EZA. We've got the Jiro and 19 and Jiro. A unit that does raise defense on Super, can absorb those key base supers. So maybe if you're going into an event where you know you're going to be hit with a Kamehameha or whatever, they could be pretty viable in there. And then we've also got the Android 13, who would have been awesome to get his EZA with this celebration, but we do get the physical MVP 17 instead. So dropping down to 3 links, we've got the AGL Cell, leads artificial life forms, power absorption. So good to be able to share a few links with the leader there. We got the Tech 17 and 18, still a really solid unit. Their Ghost Usher can provide quite a bit of usability. We've got the 2 Gammas there, the AGL and the STR 2 and 1 respectively. We've got the 16 and 18, who's a pretty solid support unit for those Android units. And then we've also got the 16, 17 and 18. A unit that is obviously extremely aged out at the moment, but should they get an EZA, they could become really, really good. They've got the basis there, they've got some dodge, they've got some support, so yeah, hopefully they do get a really good EZA at some point. So looking at the team build, initially we're going to be looking at the Artificial Lifeforms team. This is probably the most viable team for this Super 17. Because it's going to be mainly carried by the Gammas here. So, as you can see, led by STR Gamma 1. I've then brought Sal onto the team, so Sal would operate as a floater. We all know that he's not too insane in his base form here, but when he does transform, he becomes really insane. So even working as a floater would probably be pretty effective for him. We've got the AGL Baby Janemba, just a unit that can save you with the dodges, pretty much, and that's why he's going to be so viable in difficult content. So it works really well as a floating unit. We've got the AGL Gamma 1, who you'd clearly be running on rotation with the that's Gamma 2 running on rotation with Gamma 1. And then we've got Super 17 and the Int 17 EZA. So the Int 17 EZA is the unit that you could easily switch out, but each to their own. We try to use a few different diverse units in this team building guide, not just running the same rotation over and over. So in terms of rotations here, I'd probably be looking at running STR Gamma 1 with the AGL Gamma 2 on one rotation. On the other rotation, I'd be running well, you've got two ways you could either do this. You could do it with the STR Super 17 with the INT 17 EZA, because then you're going to have those 6 links active and you're going to be using the Super 17 as your slot 1 unit. Or you could run the Friend Gamma 1 as your other rotation piece with Super 17. They do share the 3 links, and then you're also going to get that defensive support. So depending on which way you want to play it, if you are not utilising the INT 17 on rotation, maybe you want to switch him out for another unit that might be a bit better towards the floating. But yeah, that's then going to leave you with INT Cell and Baby Janemba as your floaters, which, while they won't be offering support, I think they can still be pretty effective in that role. So the second team we're going to look at is actually the STR Super 17's leader skill themselves, which is the target GOKU. Their other leader skill being Joined Forces, but Joined Forces is just not in a good place for extreme units. So that's the reason why I'm not even going to look at that skill, leader skill aspect. But as you can see, we've got the STR 17. We've got Giro and Mew. We've also got Golden Freezer, the STR Cooler, EZA, Int Piccolo being one of the more recent buffs. So another team that we could throw him on here, and he's absolutely insane. And then we've also got the STR Final Form Cooler. So for this one, the rotations would look like STR Super 17 with the Giro and Mew. You're going to be running well, pretty much you only want to be running Giro and Mew if you are going up against a GOKU category or a GOKU enemy. So you're going to have to pick and choose which events you would bring this team into, otherwise you'd trade him out. But those two link up well. There's the support from Mew and Giro. That's just, yeah, an easy lock of a rotation. On the other rotation, I would probably go with the AGL Golden Freezer with the Final Form Cooler. Just a lot of defensive power in slot 1 there, and then a lot of crazy offensive potential in slot 2 as well. That's then going to leave you to float the Friend 17 and the STR Cooler, who can provide that support, as well as the Int Piccolo, because Int Piccolo is just absolutely insane. The other option here is that once you do get one of the STR Super 17s to transform, you'd be able to run them on rotation with the untransformed version. So you could have the Super 17 in slot 1 with that building up that damage reduction, that defense, and then in slot 2 have the 17s together with their dodge. You're going to have 6 links active there, and then that would allow you to float the Giro and Mew with their support. So that could be an effective way to run this team as well. Next team we're going to look at is the Power Absorption team. As you can see, we've got the AGL Cell as our leader here. We've got the Physical Metal Cooler, Carnival Hour, that probably a few people have soured on a bit, but I think with his ability to negate certain super attack effects is very handy. And then also the fact that he's got that active with the heal. Revive, he's got his revive as well. I think he offers a bit of utility to this team. We've also got the Int Cell in here again, just crazy once he transforms, and so you sort of do want to include him on these teams just to try and get his transformation off. We've got the 19 and Giro again, support unit that also can heal as well, so they're definitely useful to bring along if you're bringing an Android-based team. And then we've got the 2 Super 17s together, as we mentioned before. That is a 7 out of 7 rotation for links, so yeah, pretty safe to run those two together. So in terms of rotations for this team, as I mentioned, it's going to be the 2 Super 17s together, and then the other rotation, you're going to likely start off with an AGL Cell with Int Cell, which isn't great, to be honest. The AGL Cell is lacking for a lot of key. So until you get that transformation of him into perfect, that rotation isn't going to operate too crazily. But but I think it's just one of those situations of making do for the time being. You're going to want to keep AGL Cell on rotation so that you get those through those transformations as quickly as possible. And then yeah, you get all those links active with Cell after you do get that full transformation done. That's then going to leave you to float the physical metal cooler. As I mentioned before, just a lot of beneficial parts to his kit. So, and a revive always just gives a lot of safety, I guess, if you're worried about getting cooked or you can't use an item at that point in time. Cell, again, Incel can provide that heal too. So there's a lot of healing on this team. It's going to leave you to float the friend and the 19 and Jiro as well. So that support's going to be very handy moving forward. Then the final team we're going to look at is the Fused Fighters team. Bit more of a wonky build here, but it does utilise both of the 7th anniversary LRs, who are still really, really good for this team. So you can see that you've got the physical Super Saiyan 4s who lead the category. We've also got the Tech Gods. Then we've got the 2 Super 17s, STR Piccolo, and the physical Weirus. So for rotations of this one, it'd be a bit wonky with the 2 7th anniversary units together. If you wanted to transform the physical Super Saiyan 4s pretty early on, you could probably get away with that, and then you could run the friend Super Saiyan 4s on rotation with them. But initially, those two are going to have to be run together. Then on the other rotation, we'd be looking at the 2 Super 17s. As we mentioned before, that's a full 7 out of 7 link rotation. On floating, we're going to have the STR Piccolo, who gives off awesome support. We just love this Piccolo. And then we've also got Weirus, who is a double orb changer, can dodge, can provide support. He's probably one of those units that is almost a little bit forgotten about. He can do a lot for a team, has a lot of utility here. So just going through the teams, I think that this Artificial Life Forms team could probably be the most effective. Reconsidering now, maybe you want to change out the Int 17 and bring in another unit, something like the physical MVP 17 possibly for that extra defense. He'll get his EZA next week, or the AGL Super 17. But I think running the 2 Gamma 1s on each rotation would probably be pretty advisable. So there you go, guys. That's the team building guide for the STR Super 17. Let me know what team you're going to be running him on down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to keep up with the content, and hopefully I'll catch you all on the next video.